Good morning. The board here at Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church, and it's my honor to welcome you on behalf of the board and the program council. You're welcome here, whoever you are, wherever you're from, and wherever you're on your journey. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about TVUUC, you can fill out the visitor information card that's located in the back seat pocket or the pew in front of you and put it in the collection plate when it goes by, and someone will be in touch with you really quick. And for those visitors out online, you can go to the church website at tvuuc.org, and on the menu select Stay in Touch and fill out the virtual visitor card. For those who might feel more comfortable, the Lizzie Crozier-French room remains a designated remote viewing area for those with masks required for all those ages of 2 and over. As we move forward together, please remember that we are each other's keepers. If you or your family are interested in our youth religious education program, please visit our education table located in the lobby. I think Marion's out there today, and she could answer any question that you may have. I don't think that there are any announcements today, so we lucked out there, making it a little shorter. All of you here are welcome to join us for coffee and conversation in the Greg McKendry Fellowship Hall following the service. And all those that are at home are welcome to join our online Zoom coffee hour. Now please silence your electronic devices as we enter into worship together.
Letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love.
There is only love.
There is only love.
Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Come, let us worship together. Please rise in spirit or body as you are able, and join us in the chalice lighting hymn.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our great covenant.
So please join us in singing in the teal hymnal number 1007. There's a river flowing in my soul. We will sing all three verses and then repeat There's a river flowing in my soul for the fourth verse.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing
Invisibly Disabled by Steph Holland. My eyes may be broken, but I still feel you stare. Your eyes are wide open, I'm well aware. My legs may be wobbly, but just give me some time. Get me my wheels, watch, I'll be fine. My bones can be fragile, please don't be scared. But I know you, my mind is quite tough, so please don't compare. My ears may not work, but I know you are there. Please don't shout, it'll get you nowhere. My words get mixed up, sometimes they go missing. Letters play games with me, so don't go dismissing. Some things you can't see, but they are still real. You'll never be me, but you know how you feel. I am still valued, outside and in. Believe me, I'm abled. Believe me, I win.
Join us again in the teal hymnal, number 1053, How Could Anyone? Stand or stay seated as you wish. We will hum it through one time to get to the melody, then we will sing it through twice. So this is the time in our service where we share our joys and concerns. My name is Carolyn Rogers. So I'm here with you today as part of the spiritual care team. We're available to you in many ways, open to sharing your joys, listening to your concerns, paying attention to your stories, meeting you by phone or on an individual face-to-face basis. You can reach us via the pastoral care phone number, and it's listed on the back of your order of service, 865-297-3155. I should sing it, don't you think? I'm sorry, I won't. So you can stop me after the service, and I'll connect you with someone on our team, if you like. Another way to connect with us is Second Sunday listening booths, which was last week. So in addition, as part of our service to members and friends, I also help coordinate groups who may want to provide meals or rides or visits. We are a group of trained volunteers here for you. Well, today, Kristen McBee shares a joy with us. Her sister Lee Ann will be on, get this, will be on Jeopardy tomorrow night. Kristen was able to attend the taping in LA back in May, and while she's not going to tell us who wins, she does say that her sister had a blast. So you watch Leanne tomorrow night on Jeopardy. Kristen says they look just alike. And look for Kristen in the crowd the whole week through. So as part of my work with Pride Interfaith, I'm grateful for the work done by one of my co-chairs, the Reverend Colleen Darrow of Metropolitan Community Church of Knoxville. She was attending an amazing Fellowship of Affirming Ministries convocation in Atlanta last week and went into heart failure. This after having an aortic aneurysm repaired about 2 months ago. Anyway, after a few days of testing, she says she is now a bionic woman. She is complete with a pacemaker, and as of yesterday at noon, she was up walking around for the first time in 7 days with all signs stable. There is a card for her on the table. There is no stopping this dynamic leader in our community. So I say, bless you, Colleen, and may the force be with you and your wife, Shelley. So our dear Joe Touchton, who is in the kitchen making our coffee right now, wants everybody to know about his upcoming surgery. This is unlike the emergency surgery in 2014. This is elective. He has a good feeling about this doctor, and so he says, in my continuing battle with a defective aorta, I have chosen to have a surgical sleeve inserted in the aorta just below where it was repaired in 2014. Well, this first requires an artery realignment in his neck, which is scheduled for July the 25th, and that is followed by the insertion in the aorta in mid-August. He says, I want everybody to know this is not an emergency, but be thinking about me and I will keep you up to date. So join me in waving at one of these cameras to Joe, who's in the kitchen, watching from our church kitchen, preparing your coffee. So thank you, Joe. So a longtime friend, Beverly Clark, shares her deep sadness as her sister Valda, who is her best friend, is in critical care so far away in their homeland of New Zealand. Also, Beverly is dealing with her own medical challenges, so please hold her and family in your heart as she manages this difficult and heartbreaking time in her life. We've been missing our energetic music director, David Asbury, as he is attending the Association of UU Music Ministers in Baltimore this week. He's excited to bring home all kinds of new ideas to add to the vibrant music program that he's already developing. We will see him next week, so steady yourself for the outpouring of musical energy. Yeah. So please be sure to stop by the caring table and sign cards for these and others, such as a card of gratitude for the choral majority section of the Appalachian Equality Chorus, who thrilled and filled us with their music last Sunday. Also, please know that we hold these and others who prefer to remain unspoken at this time, that we hold all these joys and concerns in our hearts. As with E.E. Cummings, we say, I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart. May it be so. So please join me as we sing to them our healing light and love. So now let us share a few moments of prayer and meditation. We lift our gratitude to the holiness of the love that surrounds us and makes us whole. May we know the truth that we are nothing less than beautiful. May we truly feel the river that is flowing into our very souls. May all these loved ones and their joys and concerns flow into our hearts and there find our care and loving attention surrounding and healing them. And we pray that the healing river does not stop within us, but continues its way through us to those around us and on down the flowing stream of a gentle day. May we all be safe and protected. May we all know peace and happiness. May we all be healthy and strong, just as we are. May we all have ease and well-being. May we all be free from suffering and the self-criticism that causes suffering. May we all be filled with loving kindness, overflowing. Amen.
Good morning. My name is David Massey, and it's my honor and privilege this morning to introduce the offering. This is a Share the Plate Sunday, which means that any gift to the church today that is not designated as a pledge will be shared with the organization that is before us today, and that is Bryant's Bridge. Just a word, you all know this drill, but the ways to give are in your order of service, whether you're looking at it in your hand or see it electronically. But if you don't have the order of service, the easiest way to give is to go to TVUUC.org, click on Give in the upper right-hand corner, and then click on Give Today, and you can select Share the Plate as it walks you through the process of giving your gift. By way of introduction to Bryant's Bridge, I want to recall that every other Saturday night for 10 years, from 2001 to 2011, this church hosted Spectrum Cafe, which was a safe harbor and social gathering place for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender youth. There were many, just too many joys to count from that experience. But one of the extreme difficulties that we faced in the networking that we did with Spectrum Cafe was when we ran into homeless queer youth who were homeless because either they ran away from home fearing retribution from parents, or they did receive retribution from parents, or they aged out of foster care and had nowhere to go. It was a difficult task to try to help those kids. Members of this congregation, in one instance, provided housing for a trans youth over a number of years, actually, including Greg and Barbara McKendry of blessed memory. But I do know that there is a gap that exists when a young person is separated from support and from home. And the wonderful thing that has happened in this town is that Sean Bryant has, out of a deep sense of mission, come to fill that gap. So please help me welcome Sean.
Well, that was quite an introduction. I don't know if I can follow that. But I do know that last week was so good to be here and be in your presence, and I couldn't not come back. And so, yes, today I want to talk a little bit more about Bryant's Bridge for you, because last week I told you we were a house, and David talked to you about our mission to fill the gap to stand in the place of a family for the folks who live in our home. I would like to talk a little bit about what we're really trying to do, which is challenging youth homelessness in Knoxville. I looked up the word challenge, and it means to dispute the truth or validity of. And I thought about what does that really mean to me, but also what does that really mean for us as an organization? What are we really challenging? And I think several things stand out with that. One, we're challenging the idea that we can't help everyone. I hear that a lot. We can't save everyone. We can't help everyone. And I think I'm here to challenge that. I can't make a difference. I'm just one person. I can't really make a big difference. I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot to give. I don't have a lot to share. Maybe I don't feel like I have a lot of talents. We're challenging that. People who have mental health issues or have experienced great trauma really can't live a fulfilling life. I think we're challenging that and finding ways to remedy that. How do we do that? We do that with our belief that community creates change. No matter who you are, you're a part of this community, you're a part of many communities, and I will invite you to be a part of our Bryant's Bridge community. Whatever way you feel like you can do that. Our young people face many challenges. Sometimes it's disability. Sometimes it's mental health issues. A lot of times it is. Almost always it's trauma. Being surrounded by people who believe that you can. Oh, I'll use my own story. When I was very young and landed myself in this similar situation. I had a friend, and my friend said to me, I know you can't believe this right now, but you're going to be okay. All these years later, I remember that one thing that a person said to me just because they knew I was in a really tough time, but they knew there was an end goal, and they knew that I had a way to make it through that. We're doing that. We're doing that for as many young people as we can come into contact. We can't house them all. We have one house right now. We'd love to have more, and that will come. But your support means everything to us. How big, how small, that doesn't matter. You're part of a community that's creating change, and I appreciate that.
You've heard the song Tuning. That's what you're hearing now. Tuning.
Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, no manner of things will be well.
I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about pain? I said, Julian, do you not know about hunger? And Julian,
I said, Julian, do you not know about loneliness? And Julian, do you not know about disease? I said, Julian, do you not know about cruelty? I said, Julian, it's too much, it brought me to my knees. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well.
She said, no one does not know about sorrow, and no one does not know about pain. She said, no one does not know about hunger, and no one does not know about shame. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, no one does not know about loneliness, and no one does not know about disease. She said, no one does not know about cruelty. I know it's too much, it brought me to my knees. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. Julian, you are holding my hand, and Julian, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well.
She said, baby girl, do you not know about tenderness? And baby girl, do you not know about friends? She said, baby girl, do you not know about the spirit? She said, baby girl, do you not know it's only love that never ends? And so all will be well, and all will be well, all manner of things will be well, all will be well, and all will be well, all manner of things will be well, will be well, will be well, will be well.
In 1949, the year that I was born, polio was one of the most feared childhood diseases. It was highly infectious, and children were at great risk due to the method of transmission. There was no treatment, there was no cure. Paralysis is the most common symptom associated with polio. It can lead to permanent disability and death because the virus affects the muscles that help a person breathe. I imagine some of you recall seeing photographs of children in so-called iron lungs, which mechanically inflated their lungs because polio had paralyzed the diaphragm muscles. The polio vaccine was first administered in U.S. schools beginning in 1955. I was fortunate to receive the protection of the polio vaccine injection. It came too late for my friend Peggy. She was one of millions of children who contracted polio before the advent of the vaccine. I attended elementary, junior high school, and high school with Peggy. I recall her using elbow crutches to swing her paralyzed legs forward. She wore a hinged metal brace on her legs, and I recall seeing her manually open the hinge so she could sit down. I often carried her textbooks to and from class. What I can't recall is how Peggy managed to navigate the steps in our elementary and junior high school. There were no elevators or ramps, of course. Did she sit and lift herself up the steps one by one? Was she carried? Did she feel feelings of shame or of being less than due to her disability? Was she ridiculed or bullied by her able-bodied classmates? I don't know the answer. But Peggy's story illustrates the obstacles faced by physically disabled people in simply attending school. Beginning in 1920, there have been laws enacted to provide assistance for people with physical disabilities, but these were piecemeal laws and were eclipsed by the Americans with Disabilities Act that was signed into law in 1990 by President George Herbert Walker Bush. It is the most comprehensive disability rights legislation in history. Among its provisions, it prohibits discrimination in employment and guarantees equal access to education and public facilities. Following enactment of this legislation, Boston had the first Disability Pride Day event in July 1990, and Disability Pride Month was born. While disability pride and parades are a relatively new concept, the idea of disability pride is rooted in the same foundation as movements like LGBTQ+ and Black Pride. In 2013, Chicago's Disability Pride Parade defined their mission in 3 ways. 1, to change the way people think about and define disability. 2, to break down and end the internalized shame among people with disabilities. And 3, to promote the belief in society that disability is a natural and beautiful part of human diversity in which people living with disabilities can take pride. But what does pride mean in the context of disability? For many people with disabilities, seeing these 2 words in the same sentence is a novel concept. People with disabilities have traditionally been made to feel less than and ashamed of their disability by society. The very fact that they may need accommodations or special services in order to do the most basic things in life can lead to an internalized feeling of shame. Every time they have to say sorry for needing a ramp to access a venue, or they have to explain to someone why they need extra time in a test, that chips away at the pride they have in themselves. Yes, my friend Peggy's legs were paralyzed, but it was society that disabled her. Inaccessibility was the disabling thing, not some problem deep within Peggy that she needed to fix. Think about it. If elevators and ramps had been in those schools, Peggy would have been able to independently move around just like every other student. My partner Jane is going to share her observations in becoming physically and cognitively disabled due to chronic illness, multiple sclerosis, as an adult.
Laser surgery. I lived my life a huge ego. I was one of 2 employees qualified to work with specific tasks at the Y-12 nuclear facility in Oak Ridge that required a very high level federal security clearance. I loved my job. I was also very physically active and strong. Tennis, soccer, slalom water skiing, scuba diving, juggling, finding and mapping caves, and hiking and running. In 2016, it all changed. My life turned upside down with the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. MS is a progressive disabling disease of the central nervous system. MS forced me to retire and made it impossible for me to engage in many of my physical activities I love. Becoming disabled has been the most humbling experience of my life. I sometimes look drunk when I walk, so I don't want to be seen. In addition to mobility impairment, I have speech and cognitive impairment. I slur when I speak, sounding drunk. Sometimes I wish I were. I tend to refrain from participating in social discussions. Why? Because my speech impairment makes it difficult for others to understand me. Rather than asking me to repeat my comment, others just tend to ignore me. As a formerly active adult who is now disabled, I have become acutely aware that I'm no longer a full person. I am a less than. I often use a cane to visually communicate that the able-bodied that I have communicate to the able-bodied that I have a mobility problem. Nonetheless, I'm often jostled or bumped by people in a hurry to get around me. They don't realize that one bump could knock me over. This happens everywhere, even this church. Fortunately, the disease-modifying medication I have been taking since 2016 has been effective, and the MS is in remission. The MS is in remission. But the damage to my brain and spinal cord cannot be reversed or healed. MS is not a gift, but because I gain more empathy and appreciate. Sorry. MS is not a gift. Because of it, I have gained more empathy and appreciate relationships with others who have a disability. The love and support I have received from TVUUC through the choir, drumming, and the carrying table in our small groups in Jennifer have enabled me to participate. The love and support I have received from TVUUC through the choir, drumming, carrying table, and small group in Jennifer have enabled me to participate in new activities that give my life purpose and joy. Sorry, y'all. Dichotomy of tears and laughter. TVUUC, thank you.
Lakin Brooks, a graduate student at the University of Florida, was quoted in a June 30, 2022 article as saying, quote, "Disability Pride is an event that celebrates people with disabilities and chronic illnesses." Now, some people may balk at that second word, pride, but disability pride isn't about appropriating LGBTQ plus pride. In fact, the disabled and the LGBTQ plus communities have long been intertwined and have long survived under similar systems of oppression. Disability pride, much like LGBTQ pride, is all about celebrating and reclaiming our visibility in public, because people with disabilities have historically been pushed out of public spaces. End of quote. So, how can we as a community celebrate and elevate disability pride this July? How can we work together to change the outdated perception that the words disability and pride don't and shouldn't belong together? A great start is by sharing the Disability Pride flag. Jane is wearing a Disability Pride t-shirt, and if you would stand, Jane, and face the congregation so they can see it. The Disability Pride flag was created by Anne McGill, a woman with disabilities, and each of its elements symbolizes a different part of the disability community. The black field represents people with disabilities who have lost their lives, not only due to their illnesses, but due to negligence and suicide. The red represents physical disabilities. The yellow represents cognitive and intellectual disabilities. The white represents invisible and undiagnosed disabilities. Blue represents mental illness. And green represents sensory perception disabilities. It isn't enough for us to celebrate disability pride once a year. We must work throughout the year to eliminate ableism within ourselves and society. Well, what is ableism? If you aren't familiar, ableism is a broad term that dehumanizes people with disabilities and paints them as less than those who don't have disabilities. Like white supremacy, queer phobia, transphobia, ableism is embedded in the fabric of our government, our medical systems, and the way we interact with one another. It can manifest in ways that are overt, like not hiring someone because they're disabled, or it can be subtle, like hosting a social event that does not accommodate guests with physical disabilities. At its core, ableism is the idea that people with disabilities are somehow inferior to people without disabilities. Like all systems of oppression, ableism does not exist by itself. It intersects and intertwines with other forms of oppression, like racism, classism, patriarchy, homophobia. Everyone is capable of internalizing and perpetuating ableism, including people with disabilities. This congregation has adopted the 8th principle of Unitarian Universalism, which states that we affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. The term oppression includes ableism. This makes it critical that we evaluate our language, the way we think about disability, and the way we interact with people in our lives who have disabilities to reduce harm. Not all ableism is obvious. Sometimes ableist language can blend into everyday phrases without people even knowing it, especially if they are unfamiliar with the history of certain expressions. It's important to constantly reevaluate the way we speak and the phrases we use in order to cut out ableist language, especially if someone says they actively cause harm. For example, people with disabilities request that they not be referred to as a disabled person, but as a person with a disability. This is an important distinction. First and foremost, they are a person. Here are some phrases we may not know are ableist. You're lame. You're blind if you think that car is green. It's obviously blue. Are you deaf? That album was great. How can you possibly dislike it? You're so lucky you get to park in a handicapped spot. It's interesting to note that there seem to be two schools of thought on ableist belief. One is that people with disabilities are unfortunate, but innocent victims of circumstances who should be loved, cared for, and shielded from harm. The other is that people with disabilities are naturally inferior, disagreeable, and at the same time beneficiaries of unfair and unjustified generosity and social protection. Neither belief is true, and both beliefs are limiting and limit poison relationships between people with disabilities and people without disabilities. Being an ally means listening to people with disabilities and educating ourselves on issues that affect them. That could include learning about things like the high risk of suicide faced by deaf LGBTQ youth, and how many social justice-focused events are still inaccessible to people with disabilities. Good allyship means being sensitive about others' disabilities. If someone tells me they are disabled, it is not my job to play detective or ask what their disability is. Many disabilities are not visible, and prying about someone's medical history is invasive. It's important to elevate disabled voices all year long, redistribute our resources to the disabled community, like money, time, and labor, and think how we might be perpetuating ableism in our life, whether personally, professionally, or to strangers. If I am planning an event, will there be an online option for immunocompromised persons? Will there be accessible entrances, exits, and restrooms? If I'm meeting with friends, am I thinking about what the safest and most comfortable location for everyone involved would be? Ultimately, Disability Pride Month should be a time to celebrate disabled voices and to reflect on the deeply ableist ways our society works. Uplifting and including the most marginal among us, including people with disabilities, is the only way that we can ensure our collective liberation. I'm going to close with a segment that I saw on CBS Sunday Morning on June 11 this year about Danny Izzy, a woman who became a quadriplegic in 2009 at the age of 23 as a result of a fall which snapped her neck. After 2 years in limbo, waiting in vain to walk again, she decided to adapt to her life with a disability and to accept that having a disability was not the end of the world. She married and became a mother of twins who are now 3 years old. At the urging of a filmmaker friend, she and her husband agreed to have their daily life filmed for a documentary entitled Danny's Twins. There is one word Danny did not want used to describe her family. That word is inspiring. Danny said, "I want to be seen as normal. I want to be seen on the same level as everybody else. I don't need to be inspiring." Now, please rise in body or spirit, and let's sing together hymn number 1015 in the Teal Hymnal, I Know I Can.
In our efforts to be more inclusive in our language, in the Teal Hymnal, where the word sisters is used, we will sing family, and where brothers is used, we will sing friends. And at the end, we will sing emphatically, I know we can, 3 times before we close. That will be the last. I know we will. Yes, sir.
Heart.
my soul, and burdens make me strong. Though troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on. My family in my heart, my friends in my song. Though troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on. And though the journey is long, the destination is near. No troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on. So friends, take my hand, and family, sing my song. When hope awaits at every turn, I know we will go. I know we will. I know we will go on.
Prophetic Church, the world awaits your liberating ministry. Go forward in the power of love and proclaim the truth that sets us free. And now, as our last act, please greet your neighbors.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You what?
We have the routine
I
down.
know, you got it. You got it. Yeah.
Another one coming up.